Hey, good morning, guys. I'm glad to have you here, and I'm glad to share this message with you this morning. This will be a short message, but it really begins to get us to really focus on the things that matter. See, we're going to look at this verse in Luke 6, beginning in verse 46, and it's telling us to build our lives on the things that truly matter, to anchor our lives in Christ, to put Christ as our foundation, and to do the things he says. And so we'll see the inherent value of this after we finish this message. But let's go ahead and take a look at this verse right here. It says, "Why do you call me Lord, Lord, and do not do what I tell you? Everyone who comes to me and hears my words and does them, I will show you what he is like. He is like a man building a house who dug deep and laid the foundation on a rock. And when a flood arose, the stream broke against the house, and it could not shake, because it had been built well. But the one who hears and does not do them is like a man who built a house on a ground without a foundation. When the stream broke against it, immediately it fell. The ruin of that house was great." And so, as we look at this verse right here, we can begin to see that many of us try to build our lives around some different things. All right, and so what we often see here is that we try to start building things in our lives. We start getting these little pieces that kind of fit here, fit there. All right, but as we start stacking them up, we can build up this foundation on just about anything. All right, many of us just try to build these things, but when it starts to shake, they fall. All right, and it could be from anything. See, because people can put identity in just about anything in this world. This could be our job, this could be our house, but see, when one of those gets taken away, up, down goes that tower. It's just like when we're kids, we try to build this giant Lego tower, this massive structure, all right, and hope it can stay as high as it can, doesn't wobble. Well, the reality of it is one point, that tall structure that we have is going to crumble at some point. And so what we can see here is that we need a foundation. See, if you're going to build a house, build any kind of structure, you want a foundation built beneath it. And see, that's exactly what we need in our faith. We need our faith grounded in something. We need something grounded in our faith, holding all things together. See, because when you now have a foundation, as this game does, we can begin to see that now all the other pieces in our lives, they start having proper places. They start having a proper context. And see, we begin to see that even now, we begin to have more things be able to fit in our lives. But now, when things come, when those storms in our lives come, when one thing's kind of knocked out, everything else still stands. Why? Because our identity is not built in that one thing. All right, this is just one aspect of who you are in this life. And when your foundation is built upon this, generally speaking, that one little piece is generally filled with something else that will eventually bear fruit. See, because we are continually growing in Christ. See, Christ is our foundation that holds us up. Even when big things in our lives get knocked out, everything else still holds up. The body is still intact. See, sometimes we'll get wounded, sometimes we'll get bruised. Some of it will be impacted, but guess what? You can flip it back over, get it back in, and right back to it. You can continue to go on and on. See, when our foundation is not in this world, but it is anchored in Christ, see, we can speak with the confidence the Apostle Paul has in Philippians 4. Where the Apostle Paul tells us right here, "Now I am not speaking of being in need, for I have learned that in whatever situation I am in, to be content. I know how to be brought low, and I know how to abound. In any and every circumstance, I have learned the secret of facing plenty and hunger, abundance and need. I can do all things through him who gives me strength." See, it is God, it is Christ who is upholding us. It is holding all things together. See, all these things that we'll try to put in our lives, see, these can be the big things, like our family and different things like that, as long as Christ is upholding them. These can be the smaller things in our lives, all right? All right, some of our other things, we'll get schools, jobs, cars, things of this world. All these things, when they're in the right context and they're being there to glorify God and doing the things he says, they uphold. But see, build your faith upon a foundation. And so when it's anchored in faith, when things come and go, everything else can hold up. Thank you guys for watching. Hope to see you guys soon. Have a blessed week, y'all.